don't know. I think I grew up with all kinds of music. I grew up with rock music. I grew up with electronic music as well. I grew up with pop music, reggae even, hip hop. So I guess I draw influences from all kinds of styles of music. And otherwise, you know, like lyrically and like just on an inspirational level, I kind of just try to get inspiration from what happens in my life, you know, like would be when I lost my father, I wrote a song about that. When I feel like absolute shit, I, you know, do something with that, and out comes a record like Everybody's Somebody, make you feel like you are somebody. The new record's called You're Not Alone. You know, I like to make records that are a little bit more than just catered towards the dance floor. I like to, you know, to be a part of people's lives in, you know, on a higher level as well, if possible. Life is really tough, you know, like it's hard out there right now, and everybody's struggling with anxiety, depression, a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and I think music has sort of that power to create sort of a way out, to make people feel better, to forget about their sorrow, and to just for a few minutes just forget about their pain. And I think that's what people out here are doing. Like there's people from all different backgrounds, and nobody knows each other, but they're dancing shoulder to shoulder. They're all coming together, and that's, you know, what makes this so unique. And music has that sort of uniting power of bringing people together. It was the same for me, you know, like when something really heavy happens in your life, you're like searching for a reason, like why is this happening? And I think as an artist, you channel it into music or a music video or art, or even with the clothing line that I have, you know, it's catered towards making people feel better about themselves, you know, when they go to work, when they go to school. And it's the same with my record label. Everything I kind of do is catered towards, you know, motivating people. I try not to deal with it, you know, like I just wake up every day. I usually wake up feeling shit about myself, and my goal is to, you know, go to bed feeling better about myself, just like everyone else out there. You know, it's the same struggle for me. I don't think of myself as a hero. You know, the doctors saving people's lives out there, they're the heroes. The firemen, the teachers that teach the children, you know, fathers, mothers raising their children. To me, those are the real heroes, and I'm just here to just kind of provide the soundtrack to their lives and play a small role in that. And yeah, it's become more and more like, it's become such a big thing, you know, like the whole sort of hexagon movement, the hexagonians. Everywhere I go, like I look into the crowd, and it's like such a big portion of the crowd is just, it's hexagon flags, hexagon shirts. And I never expected that, but I think it's because it's more than just music. It's such a way of life. It's crazy. Like the harder I run away from being successful, maybe the more successful I get. And I think, yeah, I'm really grateful because I've always been the underdog for many years. And now I'm here. I'm playing right in between David Guetta and X1 and Grosso. You know, you can make music, and that's great. You can have a record that's successful. But I think what's been amazing for me is that I was part of a movement that was like a musical movement that became successful. And I never really aimed at having radio hits, but the sound just kind of grew, and people started picking up on the sound. And I think now, for me, really, like when my dad passed, I started to think about the future. I was like, what do I want in life? And I had that conversation with my father, and he was like, you have to be more confident of yourself, and you have to embrace the talents that you have, and not just mourn the talents that you don't have. And you know, I always put the bar here, so I'm never satisfied about what I do. I'm always self-conscious. I'm always afraid people won't like it. And then this whole future house thing came, and you know, I created this new sound, like this sort of melodic style future house, and you know, together with a few other guys, we created this new movement. And now it's become the sound that everybody's playing out here. And you know, that's something you can't predict. It's something you can't think of. You hope, you know, to be there at the forefront of like a new musical revolution within electronic music. But you know, I feel like I did a lot with that sound, and it evolved. And then you come to a point where you go to like, what else can I do? And for the album, I really wanted to kind of just focus on the idea of what is future. So I wanted to make futuristic sounding electronic music, maybe future bass, future pop, future house, but anything that sounds exciting and has like compelling harmonies and, you know, sort of new ways of producing and processing, and at the same time have that emotion. I think that's kind of what I do. You know, I try to bring that emotion, but I also try to give it like a modern swing, so it sounds fresh and new. And I think that's kind of why I'm taking sort of a new position within the scene. And you know, I'm happy it's turning out this way. I've been thinking about putting out an album with just maybe instrumentals and ideas that I think there's actually some pretty awesome stuff there. But I was thinking about just offering it for free. Like, I never started making music for money, you know? Like, I've made all the wrong decisions if I wanted to be rich. You know, there's a lot of guys out there on that field that are way richer than me. But I always spend my money, you know, I don't own, you know, the fastest car or, you know, the biggest house, but I just, I live for the music. And there's this music that I think has magic in it, but I might never finish it. But I was thinking I might offer it for free for people that go on YouTube or, you know, want to use music for their tutorial, their travel videos, or their own little after movies of the party that they have in the garden of their parents. You know, I think it's a shame sometimes because you're limited, because people have to make money off music, and for me, art and creativity is not about that. And I always get the question, can we use your music for our video? And I'm like, you can. I mean, I don't care. Like, use it all, but you're always restricted by rules, and I like to break the rules. So I'm thinking about making an album, like sort of calling it like music for imaginary adventures. I started DJing because I didn't know how to dance. And I was always standing in the corner and no girl wanted to talk to me. And I didn't have money to pay for drinks, so I was like, hey, maybe if I'm that guy out there in that booth, then maybe maybe some girl would be interested in me, and I could get to hear the music that I like, and I get paid for it. So that sounds like a great job to me. I started creating music when I was 14, you know, and there's something so magical in it. You create something that will be there forever, and nothing beats that feeling, you know. It gets hard and it gets frustrating because sometimes you're in your studio by yourself, sitting between these four walls, and you can't crack the code. But when you do crack it and you're just there dancing in your boxer shorts by yourself, all of a sudden you're 15 again, you know, like you're young. And you're like, okay, so this is why I started making music, and this is what we started. And yeah, I think that nothing beats that feeling, you know? You want to go in there and go out there and show it to your friends. I want to play that song to my mom, like, listen, Mom, I made this thing. And I see her smile, and that's magic to me. So nothing beats that feeling.